You're 33 years old. You've been working for over a decade, and somehow you're still living paycheck to paycheck. You're not lazy. You show up. You work hard. But when you look at your bank account, it feels like you're running on a treadmill, moving fast, getting nowhere. And everyone keeps giving you the same tired advice. Budget better, cut out lattes, start a side hustle, save more, invest smarter. But here's the truth. It's not that you're doing it wrong. You're playing the wrong game entirely. Most people in their 30s aren't failing at money. They're fighting a system they don't understand. And once you see what's really happening, everything shifts. I'm James, and I've spent far too much time breaking down how the rich actually think and what they do differently that no one ever teaches you. In the next 18 minutes, I'm going to show you the simple strategy that actually builds financial freedom in your 30s. If you're ready to stop spinning your wheels and start building something real, hit that subscribe button. We're going 1 mile at a time, and this is your first step. Let's talk about what your 30s actually feel like when it comes to money. You're supposed to have it together, saving for a house, building retirement, maybe thinking about kids. And every time you open Instagram, someone your age is buying their second rental property or retiring early. And you're thinking, what am I doing wrong? So you try harder, you read the books, you cut back, you work more, you stress more. And at the end of the month, you're barely further ahead than last year or 5 years ago. Here's what's really happening. You're not failing. The traditional advice is failing you. Most financial advice assumes you have extra money lying around. It assumes you don't have student loans. It assumes your rent isn't half your income. But that's not reality. Not anymore. The truth is, most people in their 30s are playing a game where the rules were written by people who bought houses for $30,000. And they wonder why those strategies don't work in your life. But here's the good news. Once you stop following their playbook and start building your own system, everything changes. Let me show you what actually works. Not theory, not someday, what works right now in your 30s with the life you actually have. It comes down to one principle: freedom through systems, not sacrifices. Most people think financial freedom means cutting everything out, living like a monk for 10 years, so maybe eventually you'll be okay. But that's not freedom. That's just a different prison. Real financial freedom comes from 3 simple systems that work together. First, the income clarity framework, where you finally understand where your money actually goes. Second, the automatic wealth builder, where you set up systems that build your future without relying on willpower every day. Third, the strategic no framework, where you protect everything you're building. 3 systems. That's it. And here's why this works in your 30s specifically. You're young enough that time is on your side, but you're old enough to have experience. You know what doesn't work. You're not starting from zero anymore. Your 30s aren't about getting rich quick. They're about getting clear. And once you're clear, everything else falls into place. Pillar 1, the income clarity framework. Here's the first system. It's called the income clarity framework, and it answers one simple question. Where do you actually stand right now? Not where you wish you were. Where you are. Someone tells me they make $75,000 a year. Sounds good, right? But when we dig into the numbers, here's what's really happening. After taxes, they're taking home about $55,000. After rent, they've got $35,000 left. After car payments, insurance, student loans, they've got maybe $8,000 left for the entire year. That's $600 a month of actual flexible income. Suddenly, $75,000 doesn't feel like $75,000. And that's the problem. Most people are making decisions based on gross income, not real income. So here's what the income clarity framework does. It forces you to see 3 types of income. First, active income, your paycheck, the money you trade your time for. Second, passive income, money that works while you sleep, dividends, rental income. Most people in their 30s don't have much of this yet. That's okay, but you need to start building toward it.
Third, protected income. Money you've set up systems to defend. Money that doesn't leak away to lifestyle inflation or impulse purchases. Here's what you do. Step 1. Calculate your freedom number, the amount you need each month to cover essentials and feel safe. For most people, this is between $2,000 and $4,000 a month. Step 2. Identify your invisible leaks. Tax withholding that's too high, insurance you're overpaying for, subscriptions running in the background, the lifestyle inflation from your last raise. Create clarity. Write it down. Track it for 30 days. Not to judge yourself, just to see the truth. Because here's what happens when you get clarity. 70% of your financial anxiety disappears. Not because your situation changed, because you finally understand it. Confusion creates anxiety. Clarity creates power. You don't need to be rich to feel safe. You just need to know exactly where you stand. If you're getting value from this, hit that subscribe button. We're just getting started. Pillar 2. The automatic wealth builder. You've got clarity. Now let's talk about how you actually build wealth without turning your life into a full-time budgeting project. This is the automatic wealth builder, and it's based on one truth. Your willpower is limited, but systems run forever. You've probably tried this. You decide to save $500 a month. You're motivated. You've got a spreadsheet. It works for 2 months. Then life happens. Your car breaks down. You're exhausted and order takeout 3 times. And your savings plan falls apart. You feel guilty, like you failed. But here's the truth. You didn't fail. Your system failed. Any plan that relies on you making the right decision every day will eventually break down. So instead of discipline, you build automation. Step 1. Pay yourself first, automatically. The day your paycheck hits, 20% moves into savings before you see it. Not at month's end. Not if there's money left over. First. You set this up once, then it happens without you thinking. Now, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, start with 5% or 3%. The number matters less than the system. You're training your brain to live on less than you make. And once your brain accepts that your take-home is 80% instead of 100%, it adjusts. You don't miss money you never see. Step 2. Automate your bills and essentials.
Rent, insurance, utilities, student loans, anything fixed gets automated. Set it once, it runs forever. Every manual financial decision drains mental energy. When you're drained, you make worse decisions. Step 3. Use the modified 50-30-20 rule. 50% for fixed costs, 30% for flexible spending, 20% for building freedom. Can't hit those numbers? Adjust them. 60-30-10, 70-20-10. What matters is having a system you can follow. Here's the power of this. Compare 2 people. Person A makes $70,000, no system, just doing their best, saves $4,000 by year's end. Person B makes $65,000, $5,000 less, but automation is set up. 20% goes straight to savings. By year's end, they've saved $13,000. Same effort, wildly different results. That's systems over willpower. And here's the compound effect. When you automate wealth building in your 30s, you're not just saving for 10 years. You're setting up a system that runs for 30 years. Start at 32. Automate $500 a month into a basic index fund. By 40, you'll have around $70,000. By 50, over $200,000. By 62, over $700,000. Same $500 monthly. No hustle. Just a system running while you live your life. That's not magic. That's math plus time plus automation. But none of this works if you don't protect it. Which brings us to the third system. Smash that like button and turn on notifications. What comes next is where most people lose the game without realizing it. Pillar 3, the strategic no framework. You've got clarity. You've got automation. Now we need to talk about the hardest part, protection. This is the strategic no framework, and it's based on one truth. Your 30s are when more people want your money than ever before. In your 20s, nobody expected much.
You could live with roommates, drive an old car, nobody cared. But in your 30s, suddenly there's pressure. Buy a house, upgrade your car, have a nice wedding, go on expensive vacations, keep up with your friends. And every single one costs money, a lot of money. Here's the trap. You start making more in your 30s. You get raises. And every time your income goes up, your lifestyle inflates to match. You move to a bigger apartment, buy a nicer car, upgrade everything. And then you're still living paycheck to paycheck, just at a higher income level. This is lifestyle inflation, and it's the silent killer of financial freedom. So here's how you protect yourself. You build a system for saying no. Not no to everything, but strategic no. Saying no to things that don't matter so you can say yes to what does. Step 1. Identify your lifestyle traps. The big expenses your peer group expects. The house that's bigger than you need. The car that's nicer than necessary. The $40,000 wedding. You don't have to avoid all of these, but recognize them as choices, not requirements. Step 2. The 48-hour rule. Any purchase over $500 gets a waiting period. No exceptions. You see something you want, you don't buy it. You wait. You think. Half the time, you won't even want it after 2 days. Step 3. Calculate the real cost. Every time you're about to spend money, ask, what am I giving up for this? That $5,000 vacation isn't just $5,000. It's the $60,000 that money would become in 30 years, if invested.
I'm not saying don't take the vacation. I'm saying understand the trade. You're 32. Car lease for $500 monthly. Seems reasonable. But look at the real cost. $500 monthly for 5 years is $30,000. That's $30,000 not invested, not compounding. That would be worth $90,000 by 50. So the question isn't, can you afford $500 monthly? It's, is this car worth $90,000 to you? Maybe it is. Maybe your job requires it. That's fine. But see the real trade you're making. Step 4. Learn to say no without guilt. This is hardest. Friends want an expensive trip. Family expects contributions. Coworkers are upgrading and you feel pressure. And you have to say, not right now. I'm building something different. Some people won't understand. Some will think you're cheap. Let them. Because in 5 years, they'll still be stressed about money, and you'll be sleeping soundly. Every strategic no today is a yes to your future self. A yes to freedom. A yes to peace of mind. Now, let's bring all 3 systems together and show you what this looks like in real life. Let's make this concrete. Meet Sarah. Sarah is 32, makes $70,000 yearly in marketing, single, decent apartment, $15,000 in student loans, $800 in savings, no plan. She wasn't failing, just stuck, working hard, making decent money, going nowhere. So we built the 3 systems. Month 1 through 3, income clarity. We mapped everything. Her real take-home was $4,000 monthly after taxes. Fixed costs were $2,500. That left $1,500 flexible income. That's when she saw the leaks. $200 monthly on subscriptions she barely used, $300 on eating out, $150 on an upgraded phone plan, $650 disappearing into nothing. Month 4 through 6, automatic wealth builder. We set up automation. 20% of every paycheck straight to savings. $800 monthly, automatic. We automated all bills, rent, utilities, student loans, everything fixed. For 2 weeks, she panicked. By week 3, her brain adjusted. She stopped thinking about that $800 and lived on what was left. Months 7 through 12, strategic no framework. Her friends wanted Miami for a weekend, $1,200 total. Old Sarah would have said yes immediately. New Sarah did the math. $1,200 now or $15,000 in 20 years. She said no, suggested a local weekend instead. Half her friends got it, half didn't. Over the year, she said no to 5 big expenses totaling $6,000. She said yes to 2 things that actually mattered. By year end, Sarah had $9,600 in savings, a real emergency fund for the first time, an extra $2,000 paid on student loans, fixed costs reduced by $400 monthly. And here's what she told me. The biggest change wasn't her bank account. It was how she felt. She stopped waking at 3 a.m. worrying about money, stopped avoiding her bank app, stopped feeling behind. She wasn't rich, but she was clear. And clarity felt like freedom. That's what these systems do. They don't make you wealthy overnight. They make you stable right now. And stability is the foundation everything else is built on. I've put together a follow-up video on the exact first steps you can take this week. You'll see it at the end. Don't skip it. Let's bring this home. Your 30s aren't about getting rich. They're about getting clear. Financial freedom isn't a number. It's a feeling. Knowing you're okay. Making decisions from choice, not desperation. Waking up without immediately stressing about money. The ones who succeed don't have the highest incomes. They don't have perfect budgets. They don't sacrifice everything. They just have clarity. They have systems, and they protect what they build. That's it. That's the whole game. Your 30s are the perfect time to build this. You're young enough that compound interest is magical, but old enough to understand what matters. You've lived enough to know that more stuff doesn't make you happier, that comparing yourself to others is poison, that peace of mind is worth more than a new car. The systems I showed you aren't complicated. Income clarity, automatic wealth builder, strategic no. 3 systems, but they remove 90% of the stress. They remove the daily decisions, the guilt, the confusion, the feeling of being behind, and they replace it with progress, real, measurable, undeniable progress, not overnight, but 1 mile at a time. Because that's how financial freedom works. It's not a lottery ticket, not a lucky break, not some secret the rich are hiding. It's clarity plus systems plus time. And you've got all 3 right now. Your 30s aren't about perfection. They're about direction. And as long as you're moving in the right direction, you're winning. The goal was never $1 million by 35. The goal was to feel safe, in control, like you're building something real. And that starts today, right now, with one decision to stop playing everyone else's game and start building your own system instead. So here's what you do next. Take these 3 systems, income clarity, automatic wealth builder, strategic no, and start with just one. Pick the one that resonates most. Spend this week building it. Not perfectly, just honestly. Then move to the next, one system at a time, 1 mile at a time. If this video helped you see your finances differently, hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications. We're just getting started. Your 30s are going to be your best decade, not because everything will be easy, but because you'll finally understand how the game works. And once you understand it, you can win it. I'm James, and remember, you're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be to start building right. Progress happens 1 mile at a time. Let's go.